All right, we are getting started. Taking a look at some of these quick builds here. Stormcrow bringing 4 SRM6, 3R medium laser, Oxide, of course, 4 SRM4, 6 SRM4 for the 2C. On those 6Rs, they are bringing 2 Gauss rifle, 6 medium laser for the 6R variant. I have seen that. I actually ran that myself for a while. That's a fun little build there. So a little bit of range, 4 Ultra UAC 10s on both of the Kodiaks. What are you seeing over on the RCGB side?
I'm seeing just your standard Arctic Cheetah. It's a Shadowcat with dual ER PPCs. Can be kind of a fun mech if you can land the shots. A Crab.
Take a look at those Warhammers.
Pulse lasers.
Take a look at those Warhammers, man.
Get into the Warhammers here in a minute. 3 ER larges, 3 mediums on 1 Warhammer. And I believe we're going to see the same thing up 3 ER larges, 3 mediums on the other. And we've got some early trading here. Definitely going for more of a range standoff for this RCGB team.
Yeah, they definitely did. They're in that D4 region, but the hard counter, in my opinion, to the D4 region is the Epsilon corner, and that is exactly what 12 Zeichen has done. This is actually playing out a lot like what I am used to, where you've got that D4 and then you've got that Epsilon corner.
And RCGB has gotten themselves in a little bit of trouble. Their Kodiak has fallen off the side.
Yeah, and so they are actually in a hard retreat because 12 Zeichen has breached the corner at Epsilon, and it looks like they're planning on bringing this fight to RCGB along this rock wall. They're going to have a really easy time running along this cover to get into position and bring the brawl to them. So for having ER larges and stuff like that, that's actually, this is not a distance they want to be fighting at all.
No, absolutely not.
But
having
12
that
Zeichen
drop down.
Absolutely. 12 Zeichen needs the armor share, though, on this entry. The Stormcrow coming out front, 74%. He does get dodged behind a rock and to really break those sight lines. Arctic Cheetah down below here, it looks like he might get pounced on, but chasing the squirrel might not be the best idea. Let's see if they can actually kill him. RCGB has backed up around the corner, and they are laying their fire as hard as they can.
Using that corner. And it does look like one of the mechs goes down for RCGB.
12 Zeichen is not moving as fast as I anticipated if they are a brawl deck. They got distracted by the Arctic Cheetah. They did end up taking him down, but they've been taking quite a bit of range fire on the approach. But they have got their Lights and Stormcrow into the fight. They're working on the Kodiak, but they're so far ahead. They're so far ahead of the rest of the team that they were able to get focused on relatively quick. 2 dead on either side. Percentage is looking very bad for 12 Zeichen. They need to get in there and start doing some massive focus fire. They're hitting the Kodiak 3 with CGB Viking. He should go down relatively shortly, but Commander Fell Stifle got killed just beforehand, and this is actually maybe bouncing back a little bit. The 2 Warhammers extremely damaged for RCGB. They do get taken down, and we are in a 4v3 situation.
The 12 Zeichen Warhammers are doing a great job back here, getting those kills at a little bit of range.
Yeah, the 6Rs with the Gauss are just doing amazing work right now. The Oxide is in the middle of the group. He's going to go down relatively quick, but he is trying to get the kill on the Warhammer. If he can take him down, he does.
He stays alive,
that is big. Did they just do a 2 kills? They just got 2 kills there.
Double kill.
That actually just swung it back
like
in
they're
favor of 12.
Back.
Look at the armor sharing or the twisting on the 6R. They are actually pulling this off with these dual Gauss 6Rs. The last one remaining is the Shadowcat. That did not go how I anticipated it at all. That was a massive... I have been surprised. Shadowcat now with the cap advantage, trying to get some distance. If he can take out that Oxide...
chasing him down, but that Oxide is 1 touch.
Yeah, he is definitely 1 touch. This is not over yet. This Shadowcat can play this very carefully. Let's take a look in his cockpit and see what he's seeing quick. He's got the dual ER PPCs, jump jets, mask. I mean, if he can get distance, he could potentially do some work, but he is up against 2 dual Gauss mechs. That is very dangerous for him, but this is going to really come down to these teams essentially making their shots. I mean, this is going to be as raw as it gets, but I'm not going to call this match at all yet.
Carcass is the biggest threat at this point. He is fresh across the board except for his back. The other Warhammer is open CT, and the Oxide is about as close to dying as you can get.
Oh, he lands a good shot. Very good.
They both land good shots there.
It looked like the
and he does get the 1 Warhammer down.
This is Warhammer versus Shadowcat. The Oxide is one touch, so it really comes down to Kara Carcass to carry this one to victory for his team. Let's take a look at the Shadowcat. Let's see what he's seeing. He's zipping around, trying to get his distance. These dual ER PPCs, though, he's going to do 20 damage to whatever component he hits, and then a little bit of it spreads out to both surrounding components. He has enough punch to do some work, but it's not going to be able to kill the Warhammer in one shot. He's trying to get that touch he wants on the Oxide. He knows it's hurt, and he does land it. It is down to a 1v1 situation.
1v1.
I don't think either mech can kill each other in one hit at this point. The cap's now flipping in favor of, not CGB, but in favor of 12 Zeichen. Yep, so they can roll with that for a little bit, but we're having ourselves a little bit of a 1v1 cap run, and if they see each other, they are going to start shooting like crazy with these ranged weapons. What's the ammunition looking like on that Warhammer?
He's
down to 8
shots left.
He needs to land these shots very carefully.
But he's got to get those hits in.
It is. The 6 medium lasers is going to be a good backup for him in case of an emergency, really, but those Gauss shots are what he's going to need. The Shadowcat has an advantage with speed. He can outcap the Warhammer. The Warhammer cannot sustain a cap war against a Shadowcat. It's the speed differential is going to kill him. He needs to be able to ambush. He needs to be able to surprise his target. And if he misses a shot, that Shadowcat is gone. And I think we saw a little bit of a blip there.
Smartly moving along, getting a minimum cap.
I think the Warhammer needs to stay on the high ground. He needs to predict the movements of the Shadowcat and see where he is going to be. For some reason, the Oxide is still showing up as live, but we are definitely, and this is why I don't go first person all that often, Gamma is actually getting flipped. See, this chase, I don't like this chase. Kara Carcass cannot just follow in the footsteps of the Shadowcat like this. He needs, and especially being down on points, and I think he just realized that. He knows where he's going to Kappa.
He's got to get the kill.
He needs to get near Theta. So at least he's in the center of the map. He needs to predict where the Shadowcat is going to go next, and he needs to cut him off. That is the only way that 12 Zeichen is going to win this. They can't just follow each other, and I think that's exactly what Kara is realizing now. There is, with as few caps as there are right now, they have enough time to get this done, but they need to get up there. This is incredibly close, though. I can't call either way. I think the advantage is in the hands of the Shadowcat with RCGB right now, but if Kara plays this smartly and realizes, well, they're probably going to Sigma next, can he cut him off? I suggest he kind of maybe heads over by Epsilon even, but it's not going to be a cap win for 12 Zeichen. It's not going to be a cap win. It has to be a kill win, and he needs to go get there. Don't even step at Theta. Don't even let him know where you are.
Absolutely.
And it looks like that might be where he's going. He's just going to get over there, try and cut him off near Sigma. Now, one thing I noticed, the Shadowcat is not going to Sigma. He's getting that scouting information.
And he just got the blip there. He sees him, and he misses with the Gauss shot.
He's not going to give him another opportunity.
No, he can't. He can't peek that corner again.
So what is the Shadowcat going to do? Is he going to... looks like he's dodging back to the left. Let's see if we can get back in cockpit, because one blip is going to be enough to tell you where he's going. It looks like Kara did not see him cut back to the left. That's going to be very bad.
Now Kara's cutting to the right where he last saw him peek around that corner.
And that seems to be a narrow escape for the Shadowcat, leaving Sigma, heading towards Kappa now. And he might get away with this. I hear him feathering those jump jets, attempting, if any Gauss does fly in, to just get rid of it. But Kara now completely blind. He has no idea where the Shadowcat is. Probably assumes that he went back the other way. But that's going to be such a long run.
He has to assume that. He's checking the junkyard, but he needs to assume that he has to head back to Theta.
He's wasting time. He's wasting time. He's not going to get it. At this point, it's going to all come down to whether or not the Shadowcat makes a stupid mistake.
Yeah. Great job so far piloting by the Shadowcat. Kara did so well in that opening round with this Warhammer, getting those shots on target.
Oh,
I
he's
don't know if
peeking
he's
up.
going to get the opportunity he had before. Kara's just not looking the right way. He doesn't know.
No, he has no clue. This was definitely a juke. A straight-up juke by the Shadowcat. Good piloting, good heads-up, using the map, keeping that advantage in their favor, and unfortunately this is going to be a slow bleed unless something happens here. Well, we might have an opportunity if he peeks up. He's definitely still looking to know where that Warhammer is, so we've really, I mean, maybe even coming down to just a headshot could decide this, because I don't think he's going to be able to toss enough Gauss downfield to finish the Shadowcat in one volley. It's not going to happen. So now Gamma's going to start flashing.
Realizing that he needs to get some cap advantage, but it's just not going to be enough.
Yep, they know he's on Gamma now. He just flipped Gamma the rest of the way. He knows where he is, but it's not going to be enough. Even at this point, because you have to flip another point, even if he does kill the Shadowcat, I don't think he's going to be able to flip it enough. We'll see. It's 2 caps to 2 caps, but you'd have to neutralize Kappa and Gamma. And he's walking away.
Yeah, I don't.
He's walking away. A 3 cap is not enough.
Maybe try and get Epsilon.
It's the wrong move. Unfortunately 3 cap is not going to be enough to win at this point. No. He needs to focus on the kill. We might get a peek here at super long ranges, but no. This one, I'm calling it. It is going in favor of RCGB unless Ayadlan makes such a huge error that he peeks up and gets killed. But I think this is going in the hands of RCGB. So well played, coming down to just 1v1
what
action.
A great match.
What a fantastic match. Those dual Gauss Warhammers, really, the 6Rs just kept them alive. It kept the fight going.
Yeah, it should be noted, without these Warhammers in the field, this game would have been long over.
Absolutely. They stayed on their corner, and they tossed some very precise shots downfield. And unfortunately for him, their Oxide was not, wasn't strong enough, wasn't healthy enough to chase down the Shadowcat. Losing that Oxide, unfortunately, is devastating, because you don't have the speed to play the cap game. Not only that, but losing the other Warhammer is huge as well, because that takes away the power of 2 mechs to walk around and get cap points. So this Shadowcat, absolutely MVP for the big clutch finish. Taking down the Oxide, taking down a Warhammer, and then evading his opponent long enough to be able to pull off the win. That could not have been closer.
Match.
Absolutely could not have been closer. Actually, it could have, but that was incredibly close. I love it. Absolutely love it. So here we go with the scoreboards. 18 damage for that initial Arctic Cheetah that went down for RCGB. But it didn't matter, because they were able to hold the Stormcrows, who I feel ran in incredibly early. They ran in way too early. They ran in ahead of their team. They didn't have the support from the other mechs coming around the corner behind them. They got into the fight in like maybe a 2v4 scenario and just got completely shredded down, only pulling 61 and 28 damage respectively. That hurts. But the Karakarkas and Defrucht pulling 500 damage apiece in those 6Rs definitely kept their team in this one, but it just slipped away from them. It was so close.
And I just want to point out the Shadowcat with 2 kills. Those were the 2 most important kills in the game, like you just mentioned, the Oxide and the other Warhammer. That's what won it for them.
Absolutely. Oh man, what a fight. What a fight. Let's go to the map.
Gentlemen, you are free to go.
I'm not even going to know where the hell to start on this one. RCGB starting team 1. Let's at least get them established. They came up and they took that D4 position, which is relatively common for this map for more rangy decks. And the hard counter, that being the Epsilon corner coming around that right side there. It gives you the opportunity to kind of mesh your way in to get into the action without taking too much of that range damage. So we've got the staging around the Epsilon corner, and RCGB starts to fall back, and they fall all the way back into here.
Yep.
They lose their Arctic Cheetah up in front for some reason. I'm not sure what was happening there, but he was operating down in this riverbed and just allowed himself to get completely surrounded. So they came up and they started fighting, and we had a bit of a standoff. We had the Warhammers back in this corner. I know we had like Kodiaks and all the other mechs up on this hill here. There was a little bit of a skirmish in the middle where both teams, the Stormcrows, went in, and we had a little bit of a fight in a brawl range. But really, it was those Warhammers sitting right on this corner together, just unloading massive amounts of fire, Gauss fire, into that position up on the hill. That was where it swung back in their favor.
Cleaning up with those dual Gauss mechs.
Absolutely. So the Shadowcat then, after the fight is over, he's able to retreat, and we just ended up having a little bit of a run. I really feel that that Warhammer in that 1v1 situation would have done much better getting to Theta quicker. I think maybe at the start of that 1v1, the sense of urgency wasn't there, perhaps because they had numbers, but the Oxide had to tell his team, I'm dead in one shot. The Warhammer was not in a good state to be able to fight in any sort of extended battle, so it really came down to that one Warhammer needed to be getting to those central positions, needed to start predicting the Shadowcat's movement, and needed to set up an ambush, because that is the only way you're going to win. You are in a slower mech, you can't just follow in his footsteps and keep uncapping his caps. It had to come down to the kills, and they needed to identify that as soon as possible and start reacting to that as quick as possible. Unfortunately, it took too long. They spent too much time on the anti-cap game, and the time just bled away. And then both teams ended up with those one mechs remaining, and of course, low ammo on the Warhammer as well does not help. To get those medium lasers down, you need to get into those ambush positions. I guarantee you, if a Shadowcat comes screaming around the corner to go to get a cap, and he finds that Warhammer right there, it's going to be a deadly surprise when you've got 6 medium lasers and 2 Gauss plowing into your center torso. That's not going to be pretty whatsoever. You won't come back from that one at all. But that's what needed to happen. But well played. Absolutely well played. That was CG.
Great match. RCGB.
RCGB coming out ahead by the skin of their teeth in a cap war against 12 Zeichen. Fantastic match. I am tickled about that one. I love close matches, and I'm glad that that one occurred. Well played to both teams. They're so close to each other right now. They just need to tighten it up for the remainder of the tournament, and they're going to see themselves doing pretty well. Well played. So we are heading to the break, and we'll be getting into our next match, which I believe is 331st RBMD versus Wild Dolphins. So hopefully that'll be a good match. We'll catch you guys in about 10 minutes. Stick around.